Hi, I'm Ori Milberger, and I'm taking the Speech 111 class. This is my informative speech, and my specific purpose is to inform you about Triskaidekaphobia. Triskaidekaphobia. To most, this is just a large word, but to anyone that suffers from Triskaidekaphobia knows all too clear about what exactly this is. Today, we will look into what Triskaidekaphobia is, some rare occurrences with the number 13, and then finally, look at who suffers from Triskaidekaphobia. Now let's look into what Triskaidekaphobia is. PhobiaFearRelease.com tells us that Triskaidekaphobia is the irrational fear of the number 13. It also tells us that it's just usually considered a superstition, like all too many other phobias. Triskaidekaphobia is also said to be linked to Triskaidekaphobia, the fear of Friday the 13th. These two phobias go hand in hand. Now, according to mysticalnumbers.com, Triskaidekaphobia comes from the Greek language as the word's split into four parts. Tris meaning 3, Kai meaning and Deka meaning 12, and phobia meaning fear, making one word explaining just what Triskaidekaphobia is, the fear of the number 13. But now that you know what Triskaidekaphobia is, let us now look at some rare occurrences of the number 13. Starting with the first rare occurrence. According to bench3.com, they show us the story of the Last Supper. You see, the Last Supper consisted of 13 people, Jesus and the 12 disciples, Judas being the last to join the supper and the first to sell Jesus out. It is still said to be unlucky to have 13 people at a dinner table at one time in some countries. And some other strange occurrences with the number 13 happen with high-rise hotels and skyscrapers. Each leaves out the 13th floor, going from 12 straight to 14. Now, mysticalnumbers.com tells us that the strangest occurrence happens in the name of many people that have wreaked havoc on the world, such as Jack the Ripper. Coincidentally, his name has 13 letters in it. This man killed at least 5 people, cutting them up and using their organs, like a doctor would cut up a human and open them for surgery. This is fueling that he used to be a doctor. You see, this bad man also joins a select list of other people, such as Osama bin Laden, killing many men and women, leading the Taliban, Saddam Hussein, being a terrible dictator, and the one man that coordinated the death of millions of people, millions of Jews, Adolf Eichmann, Adolf Hitler's right-hand man, the true man behind the misery. Now, probably the worst occurrence and the most horrific experience had to have been with Apollo 13. You see, in 1970, when the Apollo 13 was launched to space, only to have one of its oxygen tanks explode, extremely damaging the ship. And that wraps up the rare occurrences of the number 13. We can now take a look at some of the people that suffer from Triskaidekaphobia. In the world, between 17 and 21 million people suffer from Triskaidekaphobia, says thirdage.com. But this fear of the number 13 more links to Friday the 13th instead of the actual fear of the number 13 itself. However, there's a great majority of people that are very superstitious and live their lives as such. Some people go as far as to reschedule appointments and change dates of other events because of Friday the 13th. Some people even shy away from encountering black cats and other ominous things that on any other day would not bother them. This superstition even goes as far as to make people change their whole lives to fit their ideals of Triskaidekaphobia, changing people from happy children into terrified, miserable, 13 loathing adults. But now that you know what Triskaidekaphobia is, some rare occurrences of the number 13, and who suffers from Triskaidekaphobia, you can now say that you know, like those all too many others, what Triskaidekaphobia is. And you know it's a really big word.